Hello everyone, welcome to weekly cooking with Becky. Today we are doing corned beef. I put out a blog and said, hey, how many people want this? And that I would get it up early enough for all of you guys enjoying St. Patrick's Day. And of course you can totally enjoy this year round. So this is going to be made in the Instant Pot. And this is corned beef and cabbage with faux potatoes. Now I will later on tell you how you can do it however you want and still use the exact same cooking times and everything with ours. So this is keto, this is low carb, which is what I am. This will be paleo, this will be Whole Foods 30, and overall just general healthy living. Okay, so here we go. In my Instant Pot, I'm gonna go ahead and tilt it down so you can kind of see what I am doing. So I'm gonna take it off my face for a little bit. And hopefully you can see inside my Instant Pot. Okay, so inside the Instant Pot, I have 2 bay leaves on the very bottom, followed by a 2 to 2.5 pound corned beef brisket. Do not, this is very important, do not rinse the brisket. You want the natural flavoring, just take it out, put it in there, but do not use the spice packet. We're gonna do our own. From that, you need to add in, this is a 32-ounce carton. Basically, you are going to make sure that your meat is covered to the top. You may or may not have to add water. So we'll kind of see. You can either use bone broth or beef broth depending on what your store has in stock. So I'm pouring some of that in. Okay. And I see that I need to add just a little bit of water, which I've already prepared to do so. You only want it to get to the top of the meat. Don't bring it past the top of the meat. So that looks really good right there. So hopefully you can see, but that is all the water that you need. At this time, we're gonna add our spices first. We're actually going to use peppercorns. Don't actually use regular pepper. Peppercorns, when they get heated, will naturally dissolve. And then you use about a teaspoon and just kind of drop it along the top. It will melt through, but it's gonna give an even seasoning all the way around because it will melt in instead of having a bite that has some pepper and a bite without some pepper. These seasonings, by the way, are optional. If you are not a fan of some of these seasonings, just leave them out. Use the seasonings that you want. 2 cloves of garlic. I am a lover of garlic, so there we go. If you use the jarred, 1 teaspoon is 2 cloves. So I have that on top. Now, it then calls for dried mustard. Here's the problem. I went to the store. They're all out, probably because they're all on St. Patrick's Day. So I went ahead and looked at the mustard we had in the fridge, and it does not contain sugar, so I was happy about that. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of mustard. You want a teaspoon of the dried mustard. We can always add more later if we need to. So we have that. Those are the main seasonings. You can always add salt or pepper. I'm not gonna add any more salt or any more pepper because corned brisket tends to be salty and we've already added the pepper. From here, these are large diced onions, fairly large. You want a 1/2 cup. This part in the description, when she writes out the description, she tells you to add it at the end, but when you watch the video, she actually adds it at this step. So, since I watched her make the video, I want to do it the way she did it so that it comes out just as delicious as hers. So at this time, this part is done. I am going to, pull this back up to where you can see my face. So I am going to go ahead and put it in my Instant Pot. Any pressure cooker you have is fine. What you want to do is, if you have the beef stew method, great. If not, just use high pressure. It does not matter. I'm going to put this into here and make sure when you put the lid on that you set it to the ceiling position in any Instant Pot that you have. So I'm doing meat stew on high pressure for 1 hour. All right, so it is set. It's heating up. It's gonna do its thing. While that is cooking, you wanna get your veggies ready. I already have veggies ready in a bowl, but I wanted to kind of show you what I did so that you'll know just how easy it is, and I misplaced my knife. So I'm gonna put it back down for just a second so you can kind of see. So the potatoes are radishes. So you want, I'll do it this way first, you want to have about a half a cup of celery stalks chopped, and it's about 2 inches. So chopped about 2 inches. I already have it in my bowl off to the side. Radishes, they come around like this. They are going to be white, I promise, when they are cooked. You peel off the root part, make sure you rinse them. I've got some cabbage on it. And you take off the back parts. Then you slice in thirds, because later on when we have it, we want it to cook down and be as soft as potatoes. So they're in thirds. I add it. For the celery, or for the cabbage, we are just going to do wedges. Nothing fancy at all about this. You'll use half of a head of cabbage. Quite a bit of cabbage. That's your biggest one. So I'll review recipes here in just a second. And you'll just have your, here's your bowl. So I've got my cabbage, I've got all of my radishes and everything in there for my potatoes and my celery. So it is all in a bowl. Since I had to wash some of the vegetables, I have them over a paper towel just so it doesn't leak everywhere. Alrighty, so let me go over some of the nutrition facts, and then we'll be back when the beef is done and it's time, sorry about that. I think I got it still. And it's time to add it and everything. So in the pot, I have 2 bay leaves, 2 and a 2.5 pound corned beef brisket. Do not rinse it. Take it out, but do not use the spices. Put 2 bay leaves on the bottom, put the brisket. Add to that a teaspoon of black peppercorns, 2 cloves of garlic, a teaspoon of dried mustard, or you just saw me add wet mustard, and that's totally fine. Fill it up with some bone broth or beef broth. Top it to the remaining with the water until it reaches the top. Don't go past. Then, put those seasonings on top and add in a half a cup of sliced onions. Set it to meat stew for an hour. Or if you have a different brand and it doesn't have all of those, but you've got high pressure, just set it for high pressure for an hour and it will work. While it is cooking, take just wanna make sure I say it right, half a cup of radishes, take off the root in the end, make sure you rinse them, cut them into thirds, do a half a cup of celery stalks in about 2 inches pieces, and a half a cup, and just wedge out your cabbage. What I've done is I've put more celery in the fridge, more cabbage in the fridge, and more radishes in the fridge for tomorrow, because I'm going to save some broth when we are all done to reheat the new batch for leftovers for tomorrow. So right now, everything is cooking for an hour, and then I will add in the rest. Oh, I said I was going to go over nutrition. Let me do that for you. So a serving, let me see if she even tells me. Oh, serve 6. So 2 pounds serve 6. So that's 1/3 of a pound of meat, guys. Like, that's a good St. Patrick's Day meaty meal. So 1/3 of a pound of meat with your veggies. So it would be 2 net carbs only, because cabbage, radishes, and celery, virtually no carbs, virtually. Your meat is a no carb, so you're getting your carbs from your seasoning and your broth. 2 grams of fiber, 28 grams of protein, excellent protein meal, and 395 calories for an entire serving, which is 1/3 of a cup of meat, and it's gonna be roughly 2 cups of all of the veggies, which will be a combination of your potatoes, your celery, your cabbage, and your onion, 2 cups worth. So that is really, really great calorie count, 400 for all of that to eat. If you're watching this and you want to do the traditional corned beef and cabbage, but you want potatoes and carrots, exact same cooking time, you're going to use baby carrots because that's about the same size as celery. So swap that out. And you're going to use baby potatoes cut into thirds. That's it, guys. And the cooking time will be exactly the same. So if you do want to stick with traditional potatoes and carrots, you absolutely can. I'm just sticking completely low carb living today. We'll see what happens in an hour, and we'll add in the vegetables. All right, so it has been an hour. Let's take a look. You're going to cancel and open, and yes, you are going to cancel. We do have one more step. Let's take a little look at this meat here. And I just want you to kind of see, let's see, I have tongs. I feel like maybe I should just put a knife in here really quickly just to show you how tender it is. I'm gonna do that. I want to show you how tender our meat is. And whoops. By the way, this pan is just a little bit hot, so you don't want to do what I just did. Okay. I'll be slicing it up in a minute. I'm trying really hard not to touch the side of this pan. But oh my land. So we're going to leave it in here. Once again, in the video, she leaves it in. In the description, she takes it out. I've watched the video. We're going to do it her way because it gets 15 minutes more of cook time to even get softer and softer, although it's plenty soft already. At this time, everything is in here. The meat's in here. The broth is in here. The seasonings are in here. We are now going to add in, sorry my back is to you guys. We are going to add in the potatoes. We are going to add in the celery and as much of that half a cup of cabbage as possible. So I have even more. I just want to try to fill it. I'm going to press down into that liquid. Our goal is to get as close to that half a cup as possible. So, yum, yum. Because your pan is already hot, it's not going to take too long to do this last step. All right, so the lid goes right back on since we've canceled it. Put your valve back to the back so you don't have steam coming out. If you have a soup icon, you're going to set it for soup, high pressure for 15, or like I said, any pressure cooker, a high pressure cooker for 15 minutes is going to do the same thing. So I got to change it from an hour though. Don't need no hour, 15 minutes. There we go. I just found a faster way to do it. Okay, so 15 minutes, high pressure. When you get done, you will do a quick release on the steam and you're ready to plate up your meal. We'll show you it all plated up in just a few. It is time for some corned beef and cabbage. So I wanted to show you first of all what a potato looks like, because I know people are a little bit nervous about it, but they literally are soft and break and taste like potatoes. So the meal is done. I will tell you it's all in all an hour and a half the crock pot way. If you do not have pressure cooker way. If you do not have a pressure cooker of any kind, you can do this exact same thing in a crock pot. You could put in your brisket, the 2 bay leaves underneath, some beef broth and water up to the top, seasonings, put in your onion and put in the celery and the radishes or the baby potatoes and the carrots if you're choosing to go that route, on high for 4 hours. When you have 1 hour left, add in the cabbage because greens wilt fast. So you can still do the exact same thing in a crock pot. If you start it and then give yourself 4 hours to make it, but it is an hour and a half with the steps in the Instant Pot. The description will be below. And I just want to give you a little look at this gorgeousness. So I hope you guys all enjoy some corned beef and cabbage. Thanks.